Another night in London. The kind where the rain doesn't just fall, it seeps into your bones. Neon signs bleed into slick, dark streets, reflecting off puddles filled with forgotten dreams. And right there, half submerged in one of those puddles, is a soggy poster. The Jungle Syndicate sold out, a relic from a time when the music was loud and the crowds were louder. Now they're just washed up, deep beneath the city, in a forgotten sewer hideout that smells of damp earth and regret. A different kind of music is about to be composed. Midnight, a Black Panther whose suit is as sharp as his claws, stands over a makeshift Ebola-splintered wooden crate. His sunglasses hide his eyes, but not the intensity behind them. One by one, the old crew files in from the shadows. First, there's Rocco, the honey badger. He's pure twitching energy, his drummer's hands unable to stay still, constantly tapping a rhythm on his construction vest. Slinky, the python, glides in next, his bowler hat tipped just so, a cool, silent presence. Then comes Fingers, the spider monkey, shrugging off a backpack overflowing with wires and gadgets, his hoodie pulled low. And finally, bursting into the dim light with a flutter of red and gold, is Rio, the scarlet macaw, decked out in a glittery shirt that hurts the eyes. He's the face, the flair, and the liability. In the corner, a mountain in a tuxedo, stands Tank the Rhino, the silent muscle. Midnight lets the silence hang for a moment before he slams a rolled-up blueprint onto the crate. It uncurls, revealing the intricate layout of the Royal Bank of London. The bank has something that belongs to us. Midnight's voice is a low purr, smooth as velvet, but with an edge of steel. Our comeback. Rio squawks, preening, finally. Front door entrance, red carpet, flashbulbs. I've still got my signing feather. Midnight shakes his head slowly. No, Rio, we're not going through the door. He taps a section of the blueprint, showing the city's underbelly. We're going through the floor. He gestures to Rocco and Tank. For weeks, these two haven't been practicing drum solos. They've been digging. From an abandoned tube station, straight to the heart of the beast. This isn't just a gig, it's a heist. The Beastie Heist. The city sleeps, but under its streets, the syndicate is wide awake. It's 3 a.m. The only sound in the abandoned tunnel is the rhythmic scrape of Rocco's claws against the final layer of concrete. Tank provides the brute force, a silent, unstoppable battering ram. With a final heave and a shower of dust, a perfect circle of the vault floor gives way. They're in. The vault is a cathedral of wealth, silent and sterile. A web of crimson laser beams crisscrosses the room, guarding stacks of cash and rows of deposit boxes. It's a beautiful, deadly dance floor. Midnight gives a single, sharp nod. It's time for the specialists. Fingers is already moving. He scampers up a support pillar, a coil of cable slung over his shoulder. He secures the line, takes a breath, and drops. He hangs upside down, inches from the laser grid, a perfect parody of some spy movie hero. His nimble digits fly across a custom keypad, a flurry of motion, one by one. The red lines of light flicker and die. The grid is down. Now it's Slinky's turn. He flows across the marble floor like liquid shadow. He reaches a wall of steel deposit boxes, each with an impenetrable lock. But Slinky doesn't need a key. He flattens himself impossibly thin and slips through the mail slot-sized opening of a maintenance panel. Once inside the wall unit, he moves from box to box, his powerful body coiling and uncoiling, popping the locks from the inside with a series of soft, satisfying clicks. Doors swing open, revealing jewels and stacks of currency. They move with silent precision, stuffing bags with cash. But Midnight has his eyes on the main prize. In a glass case at the center of the vault sits the Queen's collar, a cascade of diamonds so brilliant they seem to drink the light. He shatters the glass with a single, calculated strike and reverently lifts the necklace. Total haul, £10 million and a piece of history. The plan is perfect. Almost Rio, mesmerized by the sheer spectacle of it all. Spots something on a guard's console, a microphone. Unable to resist the spotlight, he grabs it. "Hello, London," he squawks, his voice echoing in the silent vault. "Your favorite rock star is back." Midnight freezes. A tiny red light on the console flashes once. Silent alarm, the perfect crime, just got a whole lot more complicated. The first distant siren slices through the night. A lonely howl that's quickly joined by a chorus of others, closing in like a pack of wolves. Outside the Royal Bank, armored vans screech to a halt. The doors fly open and out pour the bulldogs of Scotland Yard, all trench coats, scowls, and determination. They storm the entrance, weapons ready. They breach the vault, expecting a firefight, a standoff, anything. Instead, they find nothing. The vault is empty. The laser grid is dark. Deposit boxes hang open. The case for the Queen's collar is shattered. The thieves, the money, the diamonds all vanished. The only thing left behind is a single yellow banana peel, lying innocently on the polished floor. Cut to the London docks. The air is thick with the smell of salt, fish, and diesel. Under the flickering lights of a loading crane, the Jungle Syndicate frantically divides their loot, stuffing cash and jewels into waterproof bags. The wail of sirens still echoes from the city, a reminder of how close they came to disaster. To the airport, my private jet awaits. Rio puffs out his chest. "There is no jet, you feathered fool." Midnight growls, shoving a bag into a large wooden crate. "The sky is the first place they'll look. We're going by sea." He points to a stack of identical crates. The stenciled letters on the side read, "Rare exotic fruit, do not open." One by one, they climb into the cramped, dark boxes, sealing themselves in with their fortune. It's not glamorous, but it's smart. The loud clank of a crane hook, grabbing their crate, is the last thing they hear, before they re-lift it into the air, swinging out over the dark water. Down on the dock, a lone figure watches the cargo ship disappear into the morning mist. Inspector Barker, the lead bulldog, his trench coat collar pulled up against the wind. He saw the banana peel. It was a taunt, a signature. He bends down, his sharp nose sniffing the air at the spot where the crates had been. He catches a faint, almost imperceptible scent. A hint of glitter, motor oil, and something wild. A slow, determined grin spreads across his jowly face. He knows the hunt has just begun. The sounds of the city. Horns blaring, sirens wailing. Welcome to the concrete jungle, New York City. Our story continues in a dusty, forgotten warehouse in the Bronx. With a splintering crash, the side of a wooden crate explodes outwards. Rocco, the honey badger, bursts through, goggles askew, manic grin on his face. One by one, the others emerge. Midnight, the sleek Black Panther, adjusts his suit. Not a single wrinkle out of place. Slinky, the python, uncoils himself. Bowler hat, perfectly balanced. Fingers, the spider monkey, scurries out. Backpack already open, tools at the ready. And finally, Rio, the scarlet macaw, flaps out, shaking glitter from his feathers. They were free, and more importantly, they were rich. First things first, a makeover. This wasn't London anymore. This was New York. Time to blend in, or, in their case, stand out. A montage kicks into high gear. Stacks of British pounds are traded for flashy new threads. Midnight keeps his signature suit, but adds a sharper cut. Rocco gets a new construction vest, bright orange this time. Slinky finds a hat with a bit more flair. Fingers trades his old hoodie for a designer one. And Rio, well, Rio goes all out. He finds the loudest, most sequined shirts the city has to offer. New instruments, top of the line. They weren't just a gang of thieves anymore. They were the Jungle Syndicate, the hottest underground mystery band to ever hit the 5 boroughs. They set up shop in Brooklyn, playing secret, unannounced gigs in old warehouses and subway stations. The crowds were electric. No one knew who they were, where they came from, or where they'd show up next. That was the appeal. Midnight on vocals, cool and collected. Rocco on drums, a whirlwind of chaotic energy. Slinky laying down the smoothest bass lines you've ever heard. Fingers, a blur of motion on the keyboards. And Rio, shredding on his new guitar, a spectacle of color and sound. The buzz grew louder with every show. They were hiding in plain sight. The music their camouflage. The city was theirs for the taking. Or so they thought. Turns out, this concrete jungle already had its kings. They called themselves the Trash Kings, a gritty, hardened gang of New York raccoons and alley cats. Their leader was a battle-scarred stray cat named Scarface, with one milky eye and a temper as foul as the garbage cans he ruled over. The Jungle Syndicate's secret gigs were happening on their turf, and Scarface wasn't the type to let that slide. One night, after a particularly wild show, he cornered Midnight in a dark, rain-slicked alley. Raccoons and cats emerged from the shadows, wielding broken bottles and dented trash can lids. Scarface got right in Midnight's face, his voice a low growl. "Nice music, but this is our stage. You play here, you pay the tax." Simple as that. Midnight, ever the strategist, tried to reason with him, but Scarface wasn't interested in talking. The alley exploded into chaos. Tank, the Rhino roadie, charged forward like a freight train, but the raccoons were surprisingly tough. They used their trash lids like shields, deflecting his powerful blows. It was a scrappy, dirty fight. Claws flashed, fur flew. Midnight knew this wasn't a battle they could win without blowing their cover wide open. "Fall back," he commanded. "We keep a low profile." They managed to retreat, leaving the Trash Kings jeering in the alley. The message was clear. They had enemies. Back at their new digs, a lavish penthouse suite overlooking the city, the mood was tense. Midnight laid down the law. "That was too close. We're on lockdown. No one leaves this penthouse. No one draws attention. Am I clear?" Everyone nodded. Everyone except Rio. The Macaw was practically vibrating with adrenaline and the thrill of their newfound fame. Being cooped up was the last thing he wanted. He craved the lights, the applause, the attention. Rules were for other people. While the others settled in for the night, Rio saw his chance. He waited until the coast was clear, then quietly slipped out the window, a flash of red against the night sky. His destination, the Mousetrap, the hottest, most exclusive animal nightclub in all of New York City. The bass was pumping, the lights were flashing, and Rio was in heaven. He strutted in like he owned the place, flashing huge wads of British pounds. He was the life of the party, buying rounds of drinks for everyone. His loud, squawking laugh echoing through the club. High on the attention, he got sloppy. He started bragging. "You think this is something? You should have seen us in London. The biggest score of the century. We even lifted a little something from the Queen herself." He was on top of the world, oblivious to the danger lurking in the shadows. Across the crowded room, a pair of cold, calculating eyes watched his every move. It was Scarface. He recognized the loud-mouthed bird from the alley, and he heard every word. The mention of London, the Queen, the score, it all clicked. He approached Rio's table, his gang of raccoons and cats fanning out behind him. The music seemed to fade away. "Well, well," Scarface sneered. "Look what the cat dragged in. The little songbird from London." Rio, drunk and arrogant, puffed out his chest. "Beat it, Fleabag. This is my party." Those were the wrong words. The club erupted into a massive bar fight. Feathers, fur, and glitter flew through the air. It was absolute pandemonium. Rio tried to make a grand escape, launching himself into the air, but he was too disoriented. He flew straight into the giant, spinning disco ball, crashing to the floor in a dazed, sparkling heap. Just then, the doors burst open. "NYPD. Nobody move." A squad of German shepherds in full tactical gear stormed the club. The chaos immediately turned to panic. Amid the scramble, 2 officers spotted the dazed Macaw on the floor. As they cuffed him, they searched his ridiculously flashy jacket. Their hands came away with a thick wad of 50-pound notes, and something else. Something heavy and ornate. It was the Queen's collar. The cliffhanger hits hard. Cut to a stark, cold interrogation room. A grim-faced German Shepherd detective, a tag on his vest reading Wolf, stares down the terrified Macaw. He slams the glittering Queen's collar down on the metal table. The sound echoes in the silence. Wolf leans in close, his voice a low, dangerous rumble. "You're a long way from home, Bird. Tell me, where is the rest of your gang?" The city lights blurred outside the interrogation room, but inside, only one light mattered. The one shining down on Rio. He was sweating feathers. "We can make a deal. A nice, quiet aviary. All the sunflower seeds you can eat." But then, Inspector Barker from London, a bulldog with a badge, slammed his fist on the table. "Enough with the pleasantries. We know you're the weak link, you sequin-covered squealer. Sing, or I'll personally introduce you to a very, very hungry eagle." That did it. Rio's eyes went wide with terror. He squawked, the words tumbling out in a panic. Okay, the Apollo. They're playing a gig at the Apollo Theater tonight. Just keep that feathered menace away from me." The detectives shared a look. They had their lead. The final act was about to begin. Backstage at the legendary Apollo Theater, the air crackled with energy. The Jungle Syndicate was getting ready for the biggest show of their lives. Midnight, cool as ever, adjusted his tie. Rocco tapped a frantic rhythm on a drum case. Slinky polished his bowler hat, while Tank stood silently by the door, a mountain in a tuxedo. But the pre-show buzz was shattered by fingers. He was glued to a small monitor, his eyes wide. He'd hacked into the theater's security feed. Midnight. "We've got a problem. A big one." The screen showed it all. Squad cars pulling up, officers swarming the perimeter. "We've got heat. 5-0, everywhere. They're blocking all the exits." Rocco growled. "What about the back alley?" Slinky hissed, peering through a crack in the door. "No good. It's the Trash Kings. They're out there, waiting for us. Looks like they want their garbage truck back." They were trapped. The cops at the front, a vengeful gang of raccoons at the back. The music of the city had turned into a siren song, and it was calling for them. The walls were closing in. The roar of the crowd waiting for the show was drowned out by the impending doom. Rocco paced like a caged honey badger. "We're cornered, man. It's over." But Midnight simply smiled. He pulled out his phone and made a quick call, a single sentence. He clicked the phone shut and looked at his band. "Gentlemen," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "We go out the front." Before anyone could object, the stage manager yelled, "You're on." The heavy velvet curtain began to rise, and just as the band stepped into the spotlight, the stage doors burst open. Police flooded in from the wings, shouting, "NYPD, freeze." The audience gasped, then erupted into cheers, thinking it was the most incredible stage effect they'd ever seen. Midnight gave a nod to Rocco. Rocco slammed his drumsticks down, and the band launched into the loudest, fastest, most chaotic song they had. It was a wall of sound, pure sonic anarchy. The cops were disoriented, blinded by the stage lights, deafened by the music. It was the perfect diversion. Amidst the glorious chaos, Tank took his cue. With a mighty roar, he lowered his horn and charged. Not at the police, but at the stage floor itself. The wood splintered and exploded as he crashed right through it, creating a massive hole. Below was the dark, echoing expanse of the New York City subway system, their escape route. As officers tried to rush the hole, Slinky did what he does best. He uncoiled across the stage, a living, scaly tripwire, sending a half-dozen cops tumbling like bowling pins. "Go, go, go." Midnight yelled over the music. One by one, the band leaped through the hole created by Tank, dropping into the grimy tunnels below. They left the sound of a roaring crowd and screeching feedback behind them. The chase was on. They sprinted through the dark tunnels, the sound of police whistles echoing behind them. The heavy bags of cash were slowing them down. "Drop the dough," Midnight ordered, with heavy hearts. They let the millions go, the bags hitting the tunnel floor with a soft thud. A train thundered towards them. Now they timed their jump perfectly, scrambling onto the side of a moving subway car, the wind whipping past them as they sped away into the darkness, leaving the cops and their fortune behind. The scene melts from the grimy dark of the subway to the bright, warm sun of a Mexican beach. The Jungle Syndicate, now clad in sombreros and beachwear, are sitting on the sand, completely broke. Rocco is trying to build a sandcastle, but keeps getting frustrated and kicking it over. Fingers is trying to hack a coconut with a seashell. Midnight stares out at the ocean, a cool drink in his hand. "Well," he says, breaking the silence, "we may have lost the millions, and the gig, and our instruments. But I have to admit, the acoustics here are excellent." The band lets out a collective groan. Just then, a familiar, flashy shape descends from the sky. It's Rio, a blur of scarlet and glitter. He lands right in the middle of them. "You escaped," Slinky hissed in surprise. Rio just puffed out his chest proudly. Then he opened his beak and dropped a single, perfectly cut, impossibly large diamond onto the sand in front of Midnight. It sparkled with all the light of their failed heist and their ridiculous, undying hope. The band stared at it for a second, and then a slow cheer started to build, growing into a triumphant roar that echoed across the beach. They were back in business. Thanks for watching our wild ride. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures.